All right, mate. I'm John.
Steve.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Gary from Spandau Ballet.
George Hencken, director of Soulboys of the Western World.
Steve.
Yeah,
Well,
cool.
it's a fabulous film. It's got probably the best soundtrack of any music film that's been made in the last 15 years. It stars these guys and another couple who aren't here for some reason, and it's just go and see it.
It's a story of the band, but it's a story of the period. It's a story of friendship, is what George made it about, or the trials of friendship and what can happen to them. And so I think it's for people who are not even interested in the band have found it a fascinating story, and I think that's why we're very proud of it.
Yeah, perhaps in Italy. I mean, Italy very much embraced Spandau back in the 80s. It will be probably more nostalgic, but Gary says you don't need to know the history of the band to appreciate the film. I think in Italy, most people would be able to recognise a lot of the band up there.
It's quite a journey. We didn't know we were making a film during all those years, but we found a lot of archive footage. Some of the guys in the band had old Super 8 cameras back in the 80s. So we had 400 hours of footage. 450 hours, it's going up every time. 600 hours of footage, and it's quite an emotional journey to see, your whole life up there on the big screen, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So
George made the film. It's not a PR piece. It's we weren't involved in the editing. George found stuff that it was a bit tough for us to watch as individuals. I think at times we're all a little bit maybe embarrassed about the way we behave occasionally, and the story as the story unfolds. But I think it has a great ending. Which,
It's got to be a very weird thing, hasn't it, to see your life on screen through the eyes of somebody else. To let someone else tell the story of your life is a strange
thing to do.
but very proud of it. Very proud of it. I think what it does is it shows people how kind of background we came from, very poor working class background, and how we influenced a decade as far as pop culture and youth culture is concerned. And I think a lot of that is not probably well known, especially here in Italy.
I love the grandiosity of the title. I love the fact that it absolutely tells you what the film is about. That these guys were Soulboys. This was a kind of underground music scene in the UK that existed outside of any interest in the musical press, and these guys went from dancing in soul clubs to making people dance all across the world.